Hello, and welcome to another Blacklist walkthrough guide. Today, I'm going to be talking to industry members specifically about how to use our search filters to really hone in and discover the exact projects that you are looking for. So, to kind of jump right in, we would move from the dashboard. So, again, this is the first thing that you see after logging into your industry member account. And you'd go over here to the left-hand navigation panel, and you'd open up the Search Projects tab. From here, you would be redirected to our search projects page. Now, before we really start getting into the nitty gritty of all of the choices you can make here, I do want to call out that the available for download option is pre-selected for you by default in our system. That means that unless you uncheck this box, the projects that are going to display here are only those that are online right now. The PDFs the writers have made available for you to read immediately. Now, that is going to be a smaller slice of all of the material that's on our site. So if you aren't immediately needing to read the PDF, I might suggest deselecting that choice just so that you're getting the full picture of everything that's available for what you're looking for. If you find a project that isn't online that you do want to read, you can always open it up, go to the writer's profile, and message them through the site and just say, hey, this is who I am. Your project sounds interesting to me. I'd love to read it. Is it available? And 9 times out of 10, the writer responds more than happy to send along their PDF to you. Before we get into it, I do just want to call out, right now we're working on a sandboxed version of our site. Our full website has many, many thousands of projects for you to look through, but we want to make sure that we're protecting the identity of our writers and their projects. So just want to call out that the numbers that you're going to see right here, 500 results, it's a fake number just so that we can really play around in this space without completely sharing all of the data about our writers and their projects. All right, so looking over here, Blacklist recommended if you want to immediately kind of hone in on material that has been evaluated by our professional reader pool and that has been identified as among some of the strongest on the site, you could select this option. All of the projects that our Blacklist recommended will have a little gold badge next to them as well, so you can visually identify them even if you haven't selected this. We talked about available for download, and then the final option up here is, does it have a public evaluation? So again, for our writers that use the site, they have the ability to access our professional reader pool, and they can purchase or receive in numerous ways evaluations from these professional readers. Especially when you're kind of in the early stages of gathering information about a project, really kind of diving into whether or not it is relevant to you and what you're looking for. If a project has a public evaluation, that can be a really quick way of just getting kind of a bird's eye view of one reader's opinion on that piece. It could be super relevant, it might not be, but in terms of just kind of sourcing information about the project, if you know you're maybe on a tight deadline and you're looking for some quick info, that is one way to really start to hone in and get a sense of, is this specific project really something that is valuable for you to spend your time digging into? All right, now let's dig into all of these filters. First up, we've got format. So these are the formats that we have available on our site. We've got film, so that is feature-length screenplays only. We do not work with short film on the site. TV pilots, half-hour multicam and single cam, as well as full hour-length pilots. We've got stage plays, musicals. Within our fiction ecosystem, we primarily work with unpublished manuscripts. However, writers that use the site, if they have a published book, they are able to add that. And in doing so, they can also indicate whether or not this is IP that has maybe been optioned or not. And we also work with a few publishers who have given us access to their backlist catalogs. It's selected access, so it's not a complete indexing of their backlists, but within the fiction and nonfiction format selections, you'll be able to see that up here you would have another option to select of whether or not it's published. And then selecting that, you'd be able to drill down even further and get into individual backlists. And that would include all published books, so only published books. And you would be able to look through there to get more information on what the book is about, who the author is, what the publisher and the imprint are. And then if you're interested in getting more information, we provide some next steps for who to contact if you want to pursue optioning. Beyond that, we've got genres and tags. It might not surprise you, given all of the numerous formats that we have on our site. You've got a lot to choose from in the genre selection. You're able to get quite granular here. I will also call out that we have now given you the ability to match exactly or to exclude completely. So you're able to really get incredibly specific about what you're looking for. Similarly, if you are looking for very specific kind of content in either a manuscript or a pilot episode, you are able to search for it and select it here. And then only projects that meet those selections would appear in your search results. Eras, if you know that you are specifically looking for something, maybe let's say set in the halcyon days of the 2010s, or you are looking for a post-apocalyptic novel, you'd be able to indicate that here. And similarly, your search results would only show projects that kind of fit those parameters. Locations, attachments, and it's worth calling out that the attachments here are for the project and not specific to the writer. So that would be, does this project have an agent that's representing it, a producer, attached director, etc., etc. And then characters. So again, you can get incredibly specific with the type of projects that you're able to search for. If you know that you've got a client who's looking for a leading role and they specifically want a star vehicle, you can search for characters that would match their description, gender, race, age. Similarly, with just kind of basic descriptions of characters in projects. If you know that you really want to find the next YA novel that follows a non-binary teen, you can absolutely search for that here. Writer details. If you only want to see projects, let's say written by a specific demographic of writer, you'd be able to search for that here. I do want to call out that our writers can choose whether or not to make identifying information about themselves available in the database. So if you make a selection here, it will certainly impact your search results, but it might not necessarily be fully representative of all of the projects on the site, simply because not every writer wants that demographic information included in the searchable database. And then finally, writer affiliations. Are they a guild member? Have they been through one of the Blacklist Lab programs? Or have one of their projects appeared on the annual list before? I will also finally say, if you take the time to really go through here, get incredibly granular with this, because maybe you've got a specific mandate that you are looking for, you know it's going to be hanging around for a while, you can save that search parameter. You can name it, and then you can also choose whether or not you want to receive emails anytime a new project meets that exact search parameter. You could select that here. So if you're like, if you know you are actively hunting, you've got to find this unicorn of a project, you can get daily emails. And if that project is suddenly uploaded, we would email you about it, and you'd be able to immediately go look at it and assess whether or not it's worth getting more information about. All right, that's a pretty deep rundown of our search projects. As always, we want to hear from you. If this is helpful, let us know. And if you found something really interesting by using our site, we would love to hear about it. If you find anything like that, feel free to use the Share Good News button right up here and let us know what you found.